Let me continue with the true life story of Henry. After the funeral of their aunt, there was no choice, so Henry and his twin sister had to return to their village. The city they had slowly started calling home was no longer theirs. Their older brothers had already gone back to live with their father after their mother died. And now, Henry and his sister had no other choice but to do the same. At first, they thought things might get better. They were wrong. Life in their father's house was difficult. Food was scarce. Some days, there was barely enough for everyone. At school, Henry and his sister often watched their classmates open their lunchboxes. Bread, fruit, sometimes warm food. They tried not to stare. But hunger has a way of making you notice everything. One afternoon during recess, his sister whispered quietly, "Are you hungry?" Henry looked at the ground. A little, but they both knew it was more than a little. A year passed like this. Then, one day, their father left the village. No explanation, no promises. He simply left the children behind. In the small house remained 3 of them: Henry, his twin sister, and their older brother, Silly. The others had been sent to live with different relatives. Now, the 3 of them had to survive on their own. Weekends were not for rest. They worked wherever they could, carrying things, helping in fields, doing small jobs, anything that could earn a little money for the week. One day, their father returned. But he did not come alone. He arrived with a wealthy woman from another town. After some time, the woman decided to adopt Henry's twin sister. It was another goodbye, another separation. Soon after, Silly finished middle school and obtained his diploma. But instead of continuing his studies, he made a difficult decision. He left the country to learn a trade and hopefully support the family one day. Now, only 2 brothers remained in the village, Henry and the youngest, Xavier. They were still just children, but life had already forced them to grow up. Yet despite everything, Henry refused to abandon one thing: school. It was the only place where he felt he could still move forward, even if there was no food at home, even if no one encouraged him, even if no one noticed. Sometimes he spent 2 days without eating, but he still walked to school every morning. And strangely enough, he was always at the top of his class. Not because he studied all the time, but because when he opened a book, he understood. His school was small. It was mostly attended by children from poor families. The level of education was not very high. So even with little effort, Henry kept finishing first. But deep inside, he had no idea how far he could really go. All he knew was one simple thing: school was the only path that seemed to lead somewhere else. So he kept walking that path, until the day he finally obtained his primary school certificate and stepped into the next stage of his life, the beginning of middle school. Sometimes the only thing that keeps a child moving forward is the small hope that tomorrow might be different. When everything around you feels heavy and nothing seems to go your way, hold on to the one thing that still gives you joy. For Henry, it was studying. In primary school, he was always at the top of his class, even when there was no one to congratulate him. Sometimes it hurt. He would watch his friends' parents come to school, cheer for them, buy them small gifts, celebrate because they had passed to the next grade. And there he was, first in the class, but with no one waiting for him at home. No smile, no voice saying, "I'm proud of you." Some days he cried. Sometimes he even felt sorry for himself. But deep down, he was still proud of what he had done. And that quiet pride, the kind that no one could take away from him, was enough to keep him moving forward. Because even when no one applauds you, your effort still matters.